other than, they had to pay him some money. They didn't want to do that. I think it was about $2 million. They didn't want to pay him. So I think that's a good signing for the Steelers. D'Angelo Williams is not going to get in trouble. Last year, I don't believe he had any major injuries that sat him out too much. I actually, don't quote me on that. Might have, but I know it's been better. Last season was one of his better seasons. So I believe having Williams and Le'Veon Bell, of course, should really ease things out. And D'Angelo Williams, start catching out of the backfield. Dre Archer's more, even though they list him at running back, he's more of that slot receiver guy that they'll use him as. Wide receiver Kenny Britt is sticking with the St. Louis Rams, having agreed with the team on a 2-year deal. Brent finished with 48 catches for 748 yards and 3 touchdowns in 2014. And those 748 yards were second most in Britt's career and the most by a Rams pass catcher since Torrey Holt in 2008. Says a lot right there. That says a lot right there while the Rams. But I see, and I want to talk more about the Rams, but we'll get that in just a second as, of course, they were one of those blockbuster trades. Percy Harvin is rejoining Rex Ryan, agreeing to a 1-year contract to play with the Buffalo Bills. Harvin was released earlier this month by the Jets after playing for Ryan last season in New York. The move came once wide receiver Brandon Marshall was acquired in a trade from the Bears, and once regarded as a rising star in the NFL. Now he's with his 4th team in 4 years. He's played only 8 games with Ryan and the Jets after arriving in a midseason trade with the Seahawks. So it's going to be interesting to see. But Sammy Watkins, Percy Harvin, could be something right there. Might. Just depends on Percy Harvin, how he acts around the other players and hopefully doesn't punch anybody. Free agent defensive end Greg Hardy has started negotiations with the team and does not want to be identified, apparently. And others are interested as well, according to his agent. But there's a huge but right there. Can't really believe too much of it, as his agent is Drew Rosenhaus. We all know him. I don't like him. He's the only agent I just cannot stand to listen to anything he says. Now, I'm not saying, others aren't interested in Greg Hardy, because that'd just be dumb to say. Of course, a lot of teams are interested in Greg Hardy. They're waiting to see what the NFL is going to do with Roger Goodell, how they're going to reinstate him, what suspension he might face. There's rumors it's a 1 or 2 game suspension. I wouldn't be surprised it's 4 to 6. So obviously that makes a huge factor in signing him, especially how much money you pay him, because he made all his money last season playing out. I mean, he still got all of it. So it'd be interesting to see. But there had been speculation Friday morning, especially on social media, that Hardy could be headed to the Oakland Raiders. But the team has not discussed the deal with Hardy, and a league source told ESPN's Bill Williamson that's what they told him. But at least 6 teams have reportedly have shown interest in Greg Hardy. I hope my Chargers go after him. We need a big defensive end. Greg Hardy can obviously make that impact that we haven't had since like 2007 or something. So the Chargers getting Greg Hardy would be a huge thing. I haven't seen anything with the Chargers and getting Greg Hardy, but if that could happen, I'd be one happy camper. The Dallas Cowboys have moved quickly to fill the part or the hole left by DeMarco Murray's departure by agreeing to a 2-year deal with running back Darren McFadden. And I love this deal, and let me tell you why I love this deal. The deal is worth up to $5.85 million, includes $200,000 in a bonus. This is a very, very smart and great deal for the Dallas Cowboys. Let me tell you why. Now, I know when you hear Darren McFadden's name, you think of injuries, you think of no touchdowns, you think of almost every negative thing. And there's a reason for it. I mean, last season was his first year playing all 16 games, and majority of it was because he was number 3 on the depth chart. Yeah, that's not really good. But I love this deal, and this is why. The Dallas Cowboys, of course, have arguably, probably actually not arguably, the best offensive line in the NFL and one of the youngest offensive lines in the NFL. Raiders, on the other hand, not so good. Not so good offensive line. So, wrap that all together. DeMarco Murray, guarantee you, has 700 rushing yards this season. Guarantee. Probably, I'm going to say about 4 or 5 rushing touchdowns. He usually doesn't get a lot, but at least 5 rushing touchdowns and at least 700 rushing yards, and that is sharing time with potentially Melvin Gordon, potentially Todd Gurley, potentially Tevin Coleman, or Amir Abdullah. One of those guys the Cowboys will draft, and I guarantee you Darren McFadden will get yardage and try to improve his career at least towards the end now in a better thing. The best thing out of all of it, the cheap deal. 2 years, $5.85 million. Awesome. And this is what McFadden had to say. He said, quote, "I've always kept my eye on Dallas. I figured whatever happened with the DeMarco Murray situation would have an impact on my situation. I feel like it would have worked out great for me. It's a fresh start being here in Dallas. Couldn't have been in a better place." He's been working out this offseason in McKinney, Texas, which, of course, is in Texas. Cowboys, bam. But no, seriously, in the 7 years with the Oakland Raiders, McFadden ran for 4,247 yards on 1,038 carries and 25 touchdowns. He also caught 211 passes for 1,700 yards and 5 touchdowns, but he struggled with injuries throughout his career, like previously stated. I love this deal. I truly do. I believe Darren McFadden will help tremendously. 700 rushing yards. State it right now. Tweet it right now that I said Darren McFadden will have at least 700 rushing yards and at least 5 rushing touchdowns for the Dallas Cowboys in 2015. Guarantee. Put it on the calendar. Put it on your notepad. Whatever you want to do, tweet it out. Make sure you put hashtag The Short Sports Show. Tag me in it. Guarantee you, Darren McFadden does. I love this deal. I'm not a Cowboys fan. I've always liked Darren McFadden. I wish he would have been a little bit better. No injuries and not with the Raiders, but guarantee you it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Great deal for the Dallas Cowboys and, of course, for Darren McFadden. Another running back who hasn't really lived to his potential is former Indianapolis Colts running back Trent Richardson, who was released Thursday, has now filed a grievance against the team for voiding the $3.184 million he was to make during the 2015 season, according to a source. Richardson hopes the grievance will help him recoup some, if not all, the money he was scheduled to make next season. Richardson, and there's been, conflicts, of course, on this, and this will be ongoing for next week or two. But things are not looking good for Richardson to get some back, to get some of the money back. He missed making his weight 14 times during the 2014 season, saying, quote, "We had made an agreement where I'd weigh 230 pounds, but it turns out that I was supposed to be 227 And they did not tell me that. We've got a list of things we can use against the Colts where I can get my money back. They were fining me for failing to meet conduct code. Not making weight is not conduct code." So I don't really know. It's very strange, and I feel hurt that Trent Richardson has not made his impact in the NFL like he should have. You look at every story you have on... Oh, we just got breaking news. Vikings released 2-time Pro Bowler wide receiver Greg Jennings. Wow. Had 742 yards and 6 touchdowns in 2014. Awesome. See, on the Short Sports Show, you get your breaking news at the same time. But back to Trent Richardson real quick before we get back to that. I also wouldn't mind, and this is where it might get too crazy, but Trent Richardson, you read all the articles on him, and they show pictures of, if you just type it on Twitter, you see pictures of Trent Richardson, and it's just like two pictures, and it says, explain his career. You have one picture before the play, what's supposed to happen, where he's supposed to go, and then they show the next picture of the way he does go, and it's like right in the middle of all the defensive linemen, and it's just nowhere. You're not going to gain anything. Whereas to the other side, he was supposed to go at is wide open and gain about 4 to 5 yards right there. So his game obviously needs fixing. That's why he has struggled in the NFL. But man, the Cowboys signed Trent Richardson though. You can get him for cheap. Get some competition. I don't like Joseph Randle anymore. He's too much of a troublemaker. Get him out of there. Lance Dunbar, possibility keeping him. We'll see. I don't know about the money situation there, but might help him. I don't know. I doubt it's going to happen, but if you get him for cheap, I say get him. The St. Louis Rams have agreed to a 1-year contract with free agent defensive tackle Nick Fairley. The deal is worth $5 million, but can increase up to $8 million with incentives. Fairley played 46 games for the Lions, recording 98 tackles, 13.5 sacks, and 4 forced fumbles and 3 fumble recoveries. Solid and a great pickup for the St. Louis Rams once again. Signing Nick Fairley, 1 year, cheap deal for $5 million. But it's all incentive based, so he can get up to $8 million, which I guarantee he's going to try to do. They were joking about his weight and during the press conference introducing him as a Ram, but he should be solid. He had a pretty productive year this year before he got hurt, and didn't really, I don't think he played anymore after he got hurt. After that, I think it was an ankle or something like that. But this is a good deal. I mean, the Rams already have a great defensive line and a very young defensive line. So adding Nick Fairley, a big power guy and an experienced guy, will really help out the, who did they draft last year? Was the last name Brocker? Was it something like that? Really will help him out, learning from him and also playing against him. That whole entire defensive line is probably going to be the best in the NFL and will truly be the most productive. Imagine this, though. You have Robert Quinn, the right side, Fairley, Brocker in the middle. Left side, I think Long still plays, but rotating him because I know he gets hurt. Bam, Greg Hardy. Wouldn't that be something for a defensive line? I'm just saying. Should be something. I haven't heard anything on it, but maybe we can start something. Quarterback Ben Roethlisberger signed a 5-year contract on Friday that should allow him to play his entire career with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Roethlisberger has led the Steelers to their only 2 Super Bowl titles since the 1970s, and the 11-year veteran is coming off a Pro Bowl season in which he established career highs in passing yards with 4,952, completions 408, and completion percentage in 67.1. He turned 33 on March 2nd. Happy late birthday, Ben Roethlisberger. But the Steelers believe that he can be better and continue playing at a high level into his late 30s as Tom Brady and Peyton Manning have done. And we got more breaking news once again. The 49ers and Reggie Bush have agreed to an agreement. 2 total touchdowns for Reggie Bush in 2014. He also had 550 total yards from line of scrimmage. Another pickup for the 49ers. I like that move. I really do. Telling you, breaking news everywhere you go. The Minnesota Vikings have filled a significant need in their offense yesterday, acquiring Michael Wallace from the Dolphins and a 2015 7th round draft pick in exchange for a 5th round pick this year. The trade was made before the Dolphins had to pay Wallace's $3 million bonus this weekend. Wallace led the Dolphins in receiving yards with 862 and touchdowns with 10, and was second in receptions with 67 this past season, which was the main deal. They had issues with Mike Wallace and the head coaching, or the entire coaching staff, and with upper management. But this should be solid. It finally